Okay, good morning. Welcome to the council highlights from our Monday, February 22nd meeting. One delegation that we had from Opta Insurance Writers, this was just on the fire department ratings and how it affects insurance for everybody in High River, and we scored very, very well. I'm not going to go into it because there's been 2 or 3 articles in the Times talking about it, so there's lots of information there if you're looking for it. But the important thing is that our fire department is very, very well prepared, which looks good to the insurance companies, which saves you money on your home insurance. So everything's great. They've always got stuff that says, oh, you can make it better by doing this, but it involves us spending a lot more of this. So welcome to the world of insurance. The bylaw 4467-2016 was just our rate bylaw. This is just something that we update every year. There's minor increases on a few things across the board. That's about it. This will be coming out in a little more detail later on, but as far as your utility rates, those kinds of things are different than this. This is rates for town services like the rec center, those kinds of things, ice rental. Application to designate 3 separate homes as municipal historic resources. There's 3 homes that we advanced their application, so they've got 60 days now to come back and actually get us to prepare bylaws for each of those homes to designate them as municipal historic resources. So we're always up for that. Studio B at the rec center and the $50,000. You've seen articles, and I've been, well, council's been been a few comments on Facebook as to how dare we do this. Everybody's in a process when they come and ask the town for money. Doesn't matter whether it's Joe Blow on the street that wants to do something or whether it's our town staff that wants to do something. There's a process as to how we go about this so that we know how how our budget operates every year. We had a group come to us asking for some money to improve the sound system in the hockey rink. There's the hockey guys, figure skating guys, lacrosse guys. The sound system is horrible in there. We know that. It's about a $25,000 touch to do it right. We were told that no, we don't have the money to do it, so it got nicked. Same thing happens when staff comes back and says, well, we underestimated the improvements to the Studio B to do these programs. We're short $50,000. Can we please have another $50,000? If we didn't have the 25, we probably don't have the 50. So we just sent it back and said, let's put this into the 2017 budget. Let's get it done, get it built properly. We got to be very, very careful. High River is not flush with cash right now, and it comes down to little items like this. So whether you're town administration or you're just a group in High River, the process has to be the same so that we know what's going on. And we can't get caught into the cycle unless it's an emergency thing that absolutely has to happen. Well, then, okay, we can do that. But neither of these really were. They're big wants, so not needs. So we'll get there. But that's why it all happened. It's not that we don't want to do it. It's just, let's be careful with how we go about this, because you can get into a spiraling thing of everybody wanting money and you just cut checks at will. So that's why that happened. We're supportive of it, but we've got to get back into the process. Travis multi-jurisdiction system. This was a real minor issue. It involves transportation when large companies are moving large equipment through town, and there's a permitting process from what I understand. It's not a big deal. I think we lost $150 last year because this wasn't in place. So now it's in place so that we know what's going on. It's a minor detail. Request for council support for an RFQ request for qualification for a regional solid waste and recycling strategy. All it is a request for qualification, so it gets sent out to a number of different companies or goes out for tender for this, and companies can send in their qualifications. so that we know if they're actually qualified when it actually goes to tender to do this job. So it's a big project between us and the MD in Okotoks, so we're all looking into it, and so we supported that, of course. Subdivision Development Appeal Board Secretary appointment, Kathy Findley, whose town staff was appointed to be the secretary for that group. Update from the Economic Impact Department. Number one, we've got to thank Angie Greneveld. Everybody's been very aware of the work that Angie's done since the day of the flood, and right from step one with helping the businesses get sorted out in the temporary business park, through that to getting back into their places, to dealing with bylaws, to dealing with safety codes issues, to getting their places cleaned up, to getting their financing, she was involved with everything. Construction downtown, and being the liaison, and to keep the communication and going as to what was happening with construction and everything else. Angie has done an absolute phenomenal job being our business renewal officer, I think what it is. Absolutely excellent work. This town and the businesses all need to thank her, because we would not be this far along as we are and have the successes that we do. We were told that we would lose 30 to 50% of our businesses, and I think we're just over, I think we've lost maybe 5%, which is a massive success, and the support that Angie provided those businesses is a big part of it. So thank you very, very much to Angie. Her contract is done here shortly, so she'll be moving on to bigger and better things, I'm sure. Alberta Community Partnership Grant application. This is just a grant that we lent our support to apply for a grant to develop a business plan for the regional airport south of town there. So minor issue. 2015 investment report. As of December 31st, 2015, we have $208,788,000 $208,788.22 in Muni Funds Money Market Fund. Fund earned $1,500 worth of interest revenue for the town. Score. Southwest Dike proposed alignment. This is the S-curve alignment that goes south and around John Monteith's house and in through the back there. This is the alignment we've been talking about since day one, that we've been supporting and pushing for, to avoid the hockey stick that basically berms up the whole southwest end of town. So that one's off the boards. This one's on. This is the one we're going with. This is the one we have funding for from the Alberta government. Just so that everybody's aware where this process is at. We put an application in last year to build the berm. That was done in May last year. Now that we have the landowner approvals dealt with, we've got the engineering design dealt with, we've got the Alberta Environment floodway fingers, crossing those, we've got those issues dealt with. That took the whole year. The design is done. It has been submitted to the province to finish up our application. Now we start going through the regulatory process. None of this is moving as fast as we want to and as fast as we had hoped to. There's a lot going on up in Edmonton, of course, and they're being very, very careful with how everything is happening, and rightfully so with the economy right now. So we are pushing on this. I speak to the minister's office, Shannon Phillips's office, pretty much weekly. Keeping them up to speed as to where we're at. Andre Corbold is back on board, and Andre was involved immediately after the flood with all our mitigation projects, with Wallaceville, with Beechwood, with the berms and the dikes. He understands the High River program as to how we're protecting this town. So it's excellent having him back as the Deputy Minister of Environment alongside Shannon, because he has the in-depth knowledge of actually what we're doing, and he knows what you're talking about when you bring it up. So excellent having him on. We have asked the province to expedite their end of things as much as we can. We still have to properly go through the public consultations with those that are affected down the Little Bow, so that everybody's clear with what's happening. The fact of the matter is, with what we are doing, this berm does not direct any more water down the Little Bow than what was going down there before. There's two things that we could have done. We can do nothing, and that amount of water goes down the Little Bow, or we can put this berm in, and the same amount of water goes down the Little Bow. The difference is we don't run it through town first. So we've got to go through this whole process. It's not going to happen as fast as I wanted it to. It's not going to happen as fast as any of us wanted it to. But we're hoping to be in the ground this summer with construction and get through this thing and be done with it. Thanks very much. Got any questions, let me know. Talk to you. Bye.